Hi everyone, today I'll be setting up a marine nano tank on a budget. Normally I deal with African Cichlids and tropicals. I'll be honest with you, I've never kept marines before, so this is a massive learning curve for me, so hopefully you guys will learn something along the series of these videos as much as I'll be learning. So through this video I just want to let you guys know if I do make any mistakes. I am a novice at keeping marines, so bear with me. I'm sure everyone's made mistakes before and that's the only way we can really learn from it. Okay, so going into what I'll be talking about today, I'm basically showing you how to set up a tank from the knowledge that I've gained after doing some research. Behind me is the Nano Tank. It is 35 centimeters high, 35 centimeters deep, and it is 30 centimeters wide. Roughly holds, well, it does hold 30 litres, which is about 7.9 US gallons. So I bought all the equipment that I'll be using in this setup from my local fish shop, which is Rhyl Aquaria. And Gaz, who is the owner, he's helped me out an absolute great deal, and I've got all my equipment from him. So in the next section I'll go through all of the equipment that basically you need to set up a marine nano tank on a budget. Just before I start that, if you look down the bottom now, through the whole video there'll be a link to Rhyl Aquaria's website, and also in the description there will be a link to the Rhyl Aquaria Facebook page. So if you're ever near North Wales, the town is called Rhyl, pop in and say hello. I'll have the address as well in the description. Gaz is a brilliant bloke. He doesn't rush when giving you advice, and if he feels that what you're asking for is wrong, he'll tell you. He's not one of these guys that will sell fish and equipment just to make a quick return. He will help you out, even if he loses out. He wants the best for us at the end of the day. Okay, so in the next section I'll go through all the equipment, and then after that we'll start setting up the tank. So okay, in this section we're going to be talking about the equipment and what else you need to set up a marine nano tank on a budget. What I mean by a budget is you decide beforehand what you want to keep in the tank, and you want to decide how much you want to spend, because marine tanks will run you into the thousands and thousands depending on how big the tank and really what you want to get out of it. So I had a budget in my head, how what I want to sort of keep to, as I'm a novice, and I want to obviously keep it low just in case I make mistakes along the way, and and I don't want to be out of pocket if it all goes horribly wrong. Okay, so talk about the equipment first, and then we'll go into stuff like the live rock and the salt water and the sand, and after we've done all that we'll go into setting up the tank. Okay, so this product here, it's called Sea View, and this sticks on the background. Okay, so the background on the nano tank is actually on the outside. This is a safe type of oil that you put onto a sponge and then apply it to the back of the tank, and then apply the background on top. Then you use like a credit card or a store card to basically iron out all the bubbles. So it actually makes the background look like it's in the tank, as you can see from the image there, before and after. So you can see the massive difference from before and after. Okay, so the next one is a wave maker. We all know how important it is in a marine setup. This one might be a bit too powerful, but I have ways of getting around that, either putting it through the live rock itself or putting it more directly to the surface. But it is a must in a tank. You don't have to get them from your local fish shop. A lot of people get them online as well, but I suggest you support your local fish shops before going online and stuff like that. But also depends on how much you want to spend at the end of the day. If your fish shop has got them all at a good price, then by all means, go for it. And the next one is the hydrometer, for testing and everything like that. so that is also a must as well. And because my tank is only 30 litres, I picked up a 25 watt internal heater. Okay, and the next one is a small thermometer that will be going inside the tank, nice and small so it can be sort of hidden on the side. Obviously then you have your light unit that will be clipped onto the back of the Nano tank, and then a small internal. It probably looks a bit large, sorry about that, it does look a bit large at the moment, but what I'll be able to do is hide that sort of in and amongst the rocks. So that's basically just for the mechanical side of the tank, keeping it clear and stuff like that. Okay, so this is the tank that I'm using. Yes, it says for aquatic plant kit, but this tank can be converted into marine nano tank really easy, and it's a perfect size. It's got rounded edges, so none of the algae in that will grow, you know, where the seal is and stuff. It won't look too horrible, excuse me. So quite a lot came with this kit. They normally, I think they retail for around about £100. I managed to pick this up from a friend, second hand, so, you know, again on a budget, comes in really handy. So a lot came with this: the light unit, the internal filter. So it's ideal. You know, you can pick up ones from Enheim, you can use the clear seal ones and stuff like that, but this one is ideal for what I want to use. Okay, so on to the live rock. You're probably thinking, what the hell's all that? Newspaper covering the live rock helps keep the algae sort of from drying out. So this is the best way to package it when you're leaving or bringing it from your local fish shop or wherever you're bringing it from. You want to keep it nice and damp with salt water, obviously. Just give you a look at some of the live rock in here. So as you can see, this live rock is nice and purple. It's basically just come out of a well-established marine tank, so that's really cool. Price-wise, you're probably looking anything from £20 to £40, I guess, depending on what size rock and how much. I probably will be only using around about probably 6 to 7 kilos, maybe up to 10 in this tank. So some do it by the kilo or some do it by the rock. What I'm going to be doing is use as much rock as I can, and whatever I can't use I'll be taking back to the fish shop. Okay, so over here is salt water already mixed. As I'm a novice, I asked Gaz at Rhyl Aquaria if he could pre-mix it for me. Makes it a lot easier for the first installation and getting the tank seeded. Along the line, once I start getting more experience in the water changing and stuff, Gaz is going to be showing me how to add the salt to the water whilst, you know, doing water changes and stuff like that. So I guess along the lines, if you're a novice like me, we'll be learning at the same sort of speed, which is pretty cool. So that I'm just going to sort of do this whole setup like from step one. In this one, there will be a couple of things slightly different than what you should actually be doing, but it'll all work itself out along the line. Okay, so sand. I haven't got too much sand. The reason being, this is not live sand. Gaz was waiting is waiting for a new shipment of live sand. So what I'm going to be doing is probably putting just over probably a couple of centimetres just to hold the rock down. As a substrate, and then placing the rock on top. And as soon as it gets the order of the live sand in, I'll be adding the live sand in as well. I did ask Gaz about, you know, can you add the live sand in a later period, and he said, yeah, not a problem. Obviously live sand is a must, so if you can get live sand from the start, by all means please, you know, use that, because it does help with seeding the tank. Okay, so that's basically everything you need to get yourself started. So in the next section, I'll be going through setting the tank up. As you can see, there's no marine fish. There's basically, you know, there's nothing that will be going in the tank until it's completely ready, where I'll be taking my water in and getting it tested. I want to do it right at the beginning, not saying it's completely the right way, but I think taking my time and learning along the way, you know, it'll cut down the chances of me making any mistakes. Okay guys, so in the next section we'll be setting up the tank. Okay, so in this section I'm just going to be handballing the sand into the tank. I'll try and do it as quick as possible because it's not something you really need advice to do it. It's just mainly, you know, getting an even layer across the bottom. I have make sure as well that you pre-wash the coral sand. It just stops it from making the water really cloudy as well, and you just want to get the bits out of the coral sand that will be floating around the tank as well. So as it's not live sand, coral sand, sorry, there's no need to put loads in at the start. Okay, so in the next bit, it'll be half full with water. Okay, so when adding the water to the tank, I suggest you use a bowl of some sort. It doesn't have to be a bowl, it can be any like Tupperware or anything like that. So when you're adding the water into the tank, it doesn't disturb the substrate and just stops the water from getting really cloudy. I'll try and do it as quick as possible. Okay, so you sort of get the idea of what to do. So in the next section, it'll be time for adding the live rock. Hi everyone, so as you can see, I've added the live rock to the tank. But what I want to show you quickly before I go into talking about the tank and what I'm going to do with stock wires and stuff, it's going to show you how I positioned the equipment. So as you can see right there, that is the power head, or sorry, the wave maker, and it's positioned so it hits the back of the live rock and disperses the flow, because the flow was just a tad too strong for the size tank, but it's working perfect now. And there you can see the internal filter as well, with the spray bar going along the back, and it's hidden by the live rock. And also you've got the small thermometer as well. And down here I just want to show you something that's come out of the live rock. It's small little, looks to me like a baby starfish. Pretty cool. I'm finding all little stuff popping out all over the live rock, and it's just fascinating. Especially to someone like me who's a novice. I used to live in Australia, so I was always around the sea and stuff, but when you get a chance to really sit down and you can see it all, I don't know, like a complete new ecosystem. It's fascinating. Okay, so sorry about that. Let's get on to the next bit. And that's where I've hid my internal filter as well. So if you look at the tank from the front, you can only really see the just the top of the wires. So I've done a pretty good job, I think, of hiding all the equipment. So I just want to talk about how I've done the rocks. The way I've layered the rocks is just this one obviously down the bottom and leaving space sort of behind it as well. So I'm thinking long term, because I'm doing this very slowly, I want to get it right and try and cut down on as many mistakes as I possibly can by taking my time. So further down the line, when I start adding corals, I'm looking at sort of bases, like different layers along the way for adding corals and what type of effects they'll have as well. So I've managed to build sort of a wall at the back, but it sort of slopes forward. I don't know if you can see it. It's quite hard. I can't actually see what you guys are looking at, but I think that sort of gives you an idea. So it's really good. It's completely new to me. I've mentioned that in the video earlier, and like before when I saw the little starfish, there's all sorts popping out. So if someone could tell me what that is, I really appreciate it, because it's all new to me. And there, that's something as well. And at the back, it's a bit cloudy, I do apologise. I'll try and point so you can see. Hang on, where's my finger? See that gap there? There's something, and it's got quite long legs. I'm not sure what it is because the water's still a bit cloudy, can't see it yet. And then you got things like that popping out. I don't know what's going on. It's great, it's all fascinating. So there's a few thank yous that I want to do. I want to do a massive thank you to Gaz from Rhyl Aquaria. As you can see down the bottom of the screen, there's a website address. His website address just basically gives you information about what he sells and stuff like that. It's based in North Wales, and you'll see the address on the website. And also in the description will be a link to Rhyl Aquaria's Facebook page, and I would appreciate my viewers if you can just go on there, click on there, and if you want any advice from marines to cold water, you know, Gaz is so knowledgeable, and he'll take his time to try and give you the best answer he can. So I just want to say thanks to Gaz also for helping me out with all the information that you're giving me, mate, and the help with the equipment. Without you, I would sort of still be an idea in my head. So I really appreciate all your input and your help. I want to say another thank you to my viewers for sticking with me. Sorry, through this quite long video. To all the new guys, to marines just like myself, I hope you might have learned something new. And down the line, once I start making more videos, I'll do a video sort of every week if I can, fingers crossed, with the process of how I'm getting on with the water testing and water changes, you know, adding stuff to the tank. Obviously it's going to be a long process because I'm going to take my time, so it could be a good month until I add anything, you know, like shrimps or fish. Obviously the size of the tanks permit what size fish I can keep, so that's another thing I'll be doing some research in and speaking to Gaz about. So the guys and the girls, you know, who's experienced in marines, bear with me if I made any mistakes in this video. You know, I'm new to it all, so I've got to make mistakes to learn. The people that say they know everything about everything, well, I'm sorry, but that's just not the case. I mean, you've always got people always learn all the time, and if you say you know everything about everything, well, you know, I don't know what to really say about that. But bear with me, leave a comment. If you guys have got any tips from me, I really appreciate all your advice as well. So thank you for watching, guys, and look forward to the next installment. See ya.